and welcome to KYU News, where we keep you updated.
In our first topic of discussion, NASA has found evidence that there used to be indeed an ocean in Mars. Before becoming the red dust bowl we know today, NASA believes that billions of years ago, Mars had a body of water holding more than Earth's Atlantic Ocean. Our study proves a solid estimate of how much water Mars once had by determining how much later was lost to space, said a NASA scientist named Geronimo Villanueva. It is becoming very clear that Mars lost the majority of its atmosphere to space, including the water. Their study was provided by observations from 3 telescope facilities on Earth. A lot of the Martian ice is made up of heavy water, or molecules in which the regular hydrogen atoms were replaced for an isotope known as deuterium. Scientists believe they have calculated the amount of water Mars had lost to space by analyzing the ratio of molecules. According to this study, scientists have found that only 13% of Mars's original water is left in the ice caps. If you went 4.3 billion years back, Mars would have had enough water for an ocean taking up 19% of its surface and reaching depths of more than a mile, 1.6 kilometers in some places, while the Atlantic Ocean covers 17% of the Earth's surface, which would have made Mars's ocean larger. Thinking about the Martian globe terrain, most of the water would have probably been in the northern plains, a region with many low-lying land. Some of the probes have documented features that were shaped by lakes and rivers. Oceans existing on Mars makes the possibility of life more believable than actually thought. With Mars losing that much water, the planet was very likely wet for a longer period of time than was previously thought, suggesting it may have been habitable for longer, said a senior scientist at Goddard named Michael Mumma. Even though NASA isn't planning any manned exploration missions until at least the early 2030s, private explorers may go to Mars before that. Mars One, a Dutch non-profit, has been selecting candidates for a 4-person, one-way mission from a group of more than 200,000 applicants, only recently deciding 100 candidates. They hope to send a mission to Mars by 2018. And now to Mana.
On Friday, March 6, a 19-year-old black man was shot by Madison, Wisconsin police officer while unarmed. The man was identified as Tony T. Robinson, Jr. The officer who killed Robinson, 12-year Department veteran Matt Kenney, had used deadly force before, shooting and killing a man back in 2007. Kenney was cleared of any wrongdoings and was even praised. The incident was concluded to be a suicide by cop situation. Robinson was shot after allegedly assaulting Kenney, who responded to calls reporting that a man was dodging cars in traffic and had battered another person. The officer followed the suspect into an apartment where shots were fired. People at the scene performed CPR on the man, who later died at a local hospital. Kenney was struck in the head but is being treated and will be released. Under a new law that was enacted last year, the Wisconsin Department of Justice will oversee the investigation into the shooting instead of local authorities. Attorney General Brad Skimmel offered his condolences to the victim's family. As a parent, I can only imagine the heartbreak they must be feeling right now in the wake of this tragedy, he said in a statement. Likewise, I am concerned for the officer involved in this incident, who I imagine is experiencing great trauma as well. The next day, demonstrators marched to protest the action of the police. Chanting "Black Lives Matter," protestants walked from headquarters in the state capitol to the neighborhood where the victim was shot. According to Madison's police spokesman, at least 100 people took part in the peaceful protest. Last year, the deaths of the 2 unarmed black men in Ferguson, Missouri and New York City triggered a wave of nationwide demonstrations against alleged excessive use of force by law enforcement. That's all for today on KYU News, where we keep you updated.
Tune in at 6 o'clock tomorrow for more breaking news.